Assalamualaikum and good greetings. So today I'm going to share my opinion and my perspective on this topic of dealing with people that, on the surface always go against Islam, always comment bad things about Islam, always saying bad things about Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, etc. Right? Now, what triggers this is two things. One is some comments by Muslims, by fellow Muslims that ask me actually, why are you always be like not directly go head to head against this kind of figure? Why are you letting them, being quite positive towards them, basically, right? So they ask me why am I like that, as if it's something weird, and perhaps in certain circle that's weird, right? You should condemn them, you should etc. Right? So that's one side where I'm asked to why I'm like this. On the other hand, in some discussion with Christian friends that commented on my videos, when they say that Christian teach that you love your enemy, right? And I remember when I read that, I said, yeah, in Islam we have that as well. We have Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam actually make dua for the best of, at that time, the enemy, right? And there's some details on that. So that is as well, meaning combining the two leads to what I want to discuss in this video, right? And perhaps primarily this video is directed, meaning the way I will relay this, my feeling perhaps is more closer to be understood by fellow Muslim, hopefully, because I will share it from the perspective of a Muslim, and so I would expect Muslim to be should be more easily relate to this, hopefully, right? But of course, if you are not a Muslim, feel free to follow along and see what I want to say, right? So for my fellow Muslim out there, right, we study the seerah of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam passionately, right? We want to see how the story goes, how or what examples are shown by Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, our beloved prophet, and the Sahaba in dealing with many different people, different characters, etc., etc. And what should we take from all of this? Now, first I want you to ponder upon this question, right? Say if you live in the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and you see several episodes that takes place, right? So for example, if you see the event that took place where Umar al-Khattab want to kill Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? You know that story, right? Meaning that at one moment he declare he want to kill Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam before he know that his sister is already follow the religion of that was taught by Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? So at that point, when you see a person like that, Umar al-Khattab declare that he want to kill Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if you are the type of those who always judge people, right? And I know many Muslim like this, like whenever they see anyone, even in the comment section, etc., they tend to have certain judgment pass, right? Okay, this guy for sure, whatever, right? If you are that kind of people, what would you judge Umar al-Khattab? How would you judge him? And would you say that, see, this guy, he want to kill Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his place is none other than whatever, right? Do you make that judgment? Other figure, Abu Sufyan, right? You know his contribution, his role in the Mecca era, in the early Madinah era, right? For example, would if you see all those incidences, if you know him, right, what his contribution towards that period, would you judge him as what, right? Would you say that based on your judgment he will end up where, right? Another figure, just an example, additional example, going to the event of Uhud, where Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam got hurt really bad, injured, right? And not only that, a lot of Sahabah got hurt, and a lot of Sahabah become shuhada. They died, they were killed, including Hamzah, a beloved person of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? One figure that is monumental, that is contributing towards that, is Khalid al-Walid, right? He is the one that charged with the horses, you know, that lead to the sudden change of reality in that battle, right? To the from winning until suddenly to totally lost. He is the figure that is important in that story. If you see the Sahaba that got killed, shuhada, if you see Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam got hurt, and you see that figure Khalid al-Walid, would you judge him and you condemn him towards somewhere? My question is this, because we know from the Sirah, all these three figures that I mentioned become the Sahaba. They become Muslim after that, and they become some of the strongest Sahaba that we know of, right? For example, Umar al-Khattab, you know, he eventually become the second Khalifa, etc., right? Khalid al-Walid, you know the contribution when he became Muslim. So my point is this, right? If we see anyone who is still living, right, and he is doing stuff that you see that he is the enemy of Islam, he is saying bad stuff about Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, etc., right? My view is, as long as he is living, we do not know what is the next episode going to be, right? Just like Umar al-Khattab, just like Khalid al-Walid, just like Abu Sufyan and many others, right? At one point we know that they are the enemy. They directly go against Islam. They directly want to harm, for example, right, Islam and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But after that, they become the protector. They become those who spread Islam, right? So that can happen to anyone, because we know those characters before Islam, you know, they're not normal people. Umar al-Khattab, you know, for example, right? But the transition that can happen, that can possibly happen. And even, right, we know in terms of making dua, right, we know the one is in Suratul Al-Alaq, right? Ara'aita in kana 'ala al-huda aw amara bit-taqwa ara'aita in kazzaba wa tawalla, right? So one dimension of this verse is about looking at Abu Jahal, right? Because that portion of the story is talking about Abu Jahal. He warned Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, from making salah, from praying, and he make direct threat, right? That's the story, right? But ara'aita in kana 'ala al-huda aw amara bit taqwa, that's a good question. That is an interesting question. What do you think if he get hidayah and become those who give da'wah? Ara'aita in kazzaba wa tawalla, what do you think if he become those who basically deny and reject Islam and become the enemy, right? And we can see the potential, right? This kind of character, when they become Muslim, they become a strong asset. When they become the enemy, they become like a big threat. And we know Abu Jahal and Umar al-Khattab is the two characters that Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam make dua, right? Give, meaning one of the two Umar, right? One of two, either Abu Jahal or Umar. So that implies something, that gives us something, right? Meaning that's why I'm not, whenever I see some characters on YouTube, right, that say, that is directly go against Islam, right? David Wood, for example, and many others, I do make dua that, Ya Allah, give them hidayah, make them part of the Muslim one day, inshallah, right? Because that is the lesson learned from what Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam did, based on the teaching from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, right? So anyone who is still living and still have the chance, first our task, our role is not to judge, right? Recently someone asked me what do I think about this phrase, do not judge a book by its cover. I say in Islam, do not judge, period. Do not judge, period. We are not to judge, right? Second, we should be hopeful that they got the truth, they become the army of the truth, right? Because some of these characters have potential, good potential behind them, right? And at the moment they are using their potential, unfortunately, for falsehood. But we make dua that one day they realize what is the truth, they are given hidayah, they become, they will use their potential for the truth, right? Just like those characters in the seerah, right? So that's basically why my position towards any character that I come across, primarily on YouTube, for example, because this is the main platform that I'm dealing with with others on the internet. I always have that hope, right? Regardless of how they comment, it's never my place to judge, because do not judge ever, right? And I'm hopeful that one day all of these people will find the truth, will be given hidayah, and will give their potential for the truth. So that's just to explain my position. Especially this is to answer to those Muslims who are wondering, why am I like this, right? Why am I like this? I never thought this is like a question, because I thought, shouldn't this be the norm? But apparently not. Apparently not, because the fact that some Muslim asked me that question, it means that most of Muslim, I think, or many Muslim at least, think that we should be in direct confrontational mode every time. I don't think so. Of course, there are place and time for certain things, but in general, our default mode, I think, should be nahnu du'at la qudat. That's one thing, and we always hope everyone to get the truth. We shouldn't hope that they die in hell or whatever, right? That's the unfortunate, because some Muslim actually, when they verbalize things, it's like that, right? When they see someone disagree with Islam, etc., go to hell, die in hell. I mean, what kind of Muslim is that? Because our you know, as the Muslim, right, we want everyone to be in heaven, right? I mean, that's the basic. What kind of problematic heart can one have to want others to suffer in hell? I mean, that doesn't make sense. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam never, make dua like, hope every of those who get into hell, etc. Right? We know the story of Ta'if, for example. Wallahu alam. So that's just to explain my position, primarily to my fellow Muslim. Of course, to non-Muslim as well, feel free to. I'm not sure, because this is primarily on the basis of being Muslim and the Islamic foundation that I'm commenting on here. But take whatever you can from this. Hopefully it is beneficial. Wallahu alam. So that's it for tonight. Thank you for watching. See you next time.